Hello everybody. This is the third session uh, for the chapter personal selling and sales force management. Now in this third session I will discuss about the sales force management in detail. Now sales force management uh, involves the following steps. These steps are establishing sales objectives, next fixing the sales quota, then designing sales force size, then determining the sales force size, then recruiting and selecting sales people, routing and scheduling, training sales personnel, compensation, evaluating the sales force, and finally motivating the sales force. These are the steps a sales manager need to follow for effective and efficient management of the sales force. Now sales force basically can be referred to sales personnel. Sales force are sales personnel or sales representative. So management of the sales representative or management of the sales personnel, we'll talk about this here. Now these are the steps, and we'll go through the detail of these steps. First I will start with the establishing sales objectives. Sales objectives are statements of what the sales team expects to achieve in a specified time period. However, the personal selling objectives may not be the same for all the companies. Sales objectives are said to be compatible with the overall objective of the company. Individual or team objective may be set for the sales personnel. One of the most critical objective of the sales personnel is to generate interest in the customer, build customer satisfaction, building customer confidence in the quality of the product, and convincing the customers to purchase the product. These may be the objective of the sales force management. Then next, the fixing the sales quota. Sales quota are quantifiable objectives set for measuring and appraising the effectiveness of the sales personnel. With the help of the sales quota, firms set target for the sales personnel, which in turn are useful in measuring their sales performance. Sales quota must always reflect the firm's selling objectives, its overall plans, and size of the sales force and the nature of the sales territory. Simply here we can say fixing the sales quota means fixing the sales target, monthly target, weekly target or daily target, then annual target, like this, fixing the sales target. Then next is designing the sales force. The sales force is organized differently in different companies. The common criteria for organizing the sales force are based on geographic territory, geography based sales territory, customer based sales territory, and product based designing of sales force. Now in the geography territory designing of sales force, in this the company organize the sales force based on the geographic territory or based on the geographic region. A geographic territory can be a city, district, state, even a country. Then customer based designing of the sales force. In this method, the company assign the salesperson based on the need and requirements of the customers. For instance, the sales force can be divided depending upon the institutional or individual customers. However, different sales personnel may end up serving the same geographic territory. Then product based designing the sales force. In this method, the salesperson is assigned a specified product out of the entire product line of the company. In this method, it is essential that the salesperson have a specialized knowledge of the product being dealt with. The next is determining the sales force size. Deciding upon the exact number of the sales personnel required is a difficult task for the sales manager. If more staff is hired, then it might increase cost, and on the other hand, hiring less number of people might increase the burden on the individual sales personnel. Therefore, sales manager should determine the optimum number of the sales personnel for the sales team. And for designing the size of the sales force, managers may follow two methods. These are like equalized workload methods or incremental productivity methods. Equalized workload method. According to equalized workload method, every salesperson should have equal workload. This may imply that each salesperson is required to make the same number of sales calls and has to meet the same deadlines. The size of the sales force is dependent upon the number of the potential and actual customer in a given territory. Then second method is incremental productivity method. According to the incremental productivity method, it is assumed that the addition of the salesperson is justified when the additional sales generated by the salesman exceed the cost of hiring him or her. Therefore, sales manager recruits sales personnel as long as sales generated by them exceed the cost incurred on them. The next step is recruiting and selecting salespeople. Recruiting the right people is essential for developing an efficient sales team. Companies may opt for internal or external recruitment, where internal recruitment implies recruiting the company's own sales force, for example, for higher post, then identifying personnel from other functional departments, etc. On the other hand, external recruitment can be in the form of advertising in newspaper, reference from suppliers, professional associations, recruiting through placement consultancies, employee referrals, campus recruitment, etc. Selection procedure can vary from a simple informal interview to a structured process consisting of a written test and an interview followed by a physical examination. Next step is routing and scheduling. The sales manager must specify the sales territory, the number of customers, and their geographic distribution within the territory before routing and scheduling the sales call to be made by the salesperson. Once this is done, the sales manager must set the frequency and the duration of the sales call to be made. Schedule may be set in adherence by the sales manager in collaboration with the sales personnel. However, taking into consideration the convenience of the customers, it is beneficial to set flexible schedules for the sales personnel. Then next is training sales personnel. Improving training to next steps we are going to discuss training sales personnel. Giving training or imparting training to sales personnel is important due to the many reasons, like training helps the sales personnel, both old and new, to perform more effectively. Training helps the sales personnel in gaining a better understanding of the market condition, the taste and preference of the customers. Training enables the salesperson to know the company's product as well as the competitor's product. This knowledge in turn can be utilized in improving the effectiveness of the salesperson, and many more. Training can be given to the entire sales team or to selected sales personnel depending upon the need. Firm can give training to the sales personnel in the form of introduction training, training regarding the new products, advanced selling techniques, change in company policies, etc. Then next step is compensation. Compensation is basically related to the salary, wages, incentive, commission, and it is the reward given to the salesperson for the result achieved and the efforts made to accomplish the given target or task. Compensation is used to motivate the sales force to enhance their performance. Now, every company follows some unique compensation methods, and among these methods there are 3 methods are important. These methods we will discuss here. Straight salary compensation. And straight salary compensation refers to a fixed amount of salary is given to the sales personnel at the end of the week or month. Then second is straight commission compensation. In this method, compensation paid for achieving specific target in a given time is known as straight commission compensation. Then third method is salary plus commission. It provides a specific salary and also enables the employee to earn a commission for achieving a specific targets that is over and above the regular targets. And next step is evaluating the sales force. Evaluating the sales force. Through evaluation, the firm compares the actual sales achieved as against the sales target of the salesperson. The company can thus assess and appraise the performance of the sales personnel. Then next is and the final step in the sales force management is motivating the sales force. Motivation acts as a driving force in achieving the desired goal and objective of the sales personnel. Therefore, sales manager attempts to motivate their sales force to achieve the firm's sales objective. A sales manager can use financial incentive and non-financial incentive. Now, in financial incentive like bonus, commission, etc. can be given, and in non-financial incentive like job security, recognition, appreciation, award, etc. can be used as means to motivate the sales personnel to perform better on the job. So these are the detail about the sales force management steps, and these all steps are given in a single slide. So if you can memorize or you can remember all these points, and from the explanation if you develop a clear idea about these steps, so you can write of your own. So this is basically all about the Salesforce management. And now next we'll go through the summary of this whole chapter, personal selling and Salesforce management. And we'll start with the first topic. First, we have discussed nature and importance of the personal selling. Then next we have discussed types of salesperson. In types of salesperson, there are 3 types of salesperson: order taker, order getters, and support personnel. Then next we have discussed personal selling process. Personal selling process consists of 7 steps, and these 7 steps are prospecting and evaluation, then pre-approach, approach, presentation, handling objection, closing, and finally follow-up. Then next we have discussed improving personal selling efforts. This consists of professional training, negotiation, and relationship marketing. Then we have discussed Salesforce management. Salesforce management involves different steps like establishing sales objectives, then fixing the sales quota, then designing the sales force, determining the sales force size, then recruiting and selecting sales people, routing and scheduling, training sales personnel, compensation for the sales personnel, then evaluating the sales force performance, and finally motivating the sales force for better performance. This is basically the whole summary of the whole chapter. And thank you everybody again. Now again I would like to request and advise all of you that please you do subscribe for this channel, so that you may get all the upcoming videos. And you are also requested and advised to like, share, and recommend this channel to others also. Thank you everybody. Thank you.